and welcome back to my channel. In this week's video I'm going to be talking all about overeating, and we're going to look at the 4 main reasons why you may be overeating, and that's sabotaging the results that you're looking for to improve your health. So I'm going to talk about each reason that may be causing you to overeat, and then provide you with a really good strategy to get started with to help you stop doing that so that you can actually get the results that you deserve. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please feel welcome to hit the subscribe button and the bell, and then you'll be notified every time I release a new video all about health, wellness and intuitive eating. One of the main things that used to sabotage my own success, for want of a better word, with wanting to make changes to my health was overeating. It was something that I struggled with for a really long time, and I always used to think it was willpower and general failure that was the reason that I overate. And then coming into transforming my relationship with food and my body through intuitive eating was actually the key for me to being able to recognise what was really going on that was causing my overeating. And since I was able to recognise, work through that and heal it, I've absolutely transformed my health and also the health of lots of my lovely clients that I work with as an intuitive eating counsellor. So I really hope you find this video helpful, and if you want to share any of your experiences with overeating in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Do feel welcome to let me know how you're getting on with any challenges that you're experiencing with overeating and what you've done to overcome them. So one of the first reasons you might be overeating is due to biological hunger, or physical hunger might be words that feel a bit more familiar to you. If you let your body get too hungry, the response to that is that your body goes into almost a little bit of survival mode, and it will override any of your normal hunger cues and fullness cues to let you know how much to eat. So a lot of the time when you're overeating, it's actually a really sensible place to start looking, and one of the most straightforward places to start looking is actually how much you're eating during the course of a day, and starting to recognise where actually physical and biological hunger is the causative factor that's making you feel as though you're overeating. And then you can look from there to start eating more regularly during the day if you've identified that that is actually something that's affecting you, and just see the difference it makes to the intensity that you want to eat and the volume of food that you want to eat. It's also worth bearing in mind that if you're a dieter and you've been on a lot of diets, then the desire to eat is usually really strong when you are restricting your food through whatever diet plan you've chosen to do. And another reason why I always go on about it in these videos, but another reason why diets don't work, because they put you into restriction mode, and oftentimes you can end up getting extremely hungry on a diet if it's not meeting your basic needs, and then that will flick that switch that makes you want to eat a larger volume of food than your body really needs, and often in a short space of time. So just worth bearing that in mind as well, that in the example of this video with overeating, dieting is often a main source, a main trigger for why the overeating pattern is happening. So the second reason that you might be aware that you're overeating is to do with having food rules and rigidity around food. Again, that often stems from dieting and restricting. But an example of that would be, say you had some food rules that you broke and then thought, oh, I've gone off the diet, or I've failed my diet, so I may as well just eat whatever I want now. Then it becomes like an all or nothing mindset, and that in and of itself can lead to overeating. So that's a really sort of helpful one to reflect on and see whether you think that that is a pattern that resonates with you that's also contributing to overeating. And the third reason that you might be overeating is due to potentially lack of self-care. Self-care is really important, and it's as simple as just meeting your basic needs. So examples would be getting enough sleep, managing stress levels, not overworking depending on the profession that you're in, saying no to things instead of saying yes to everything, recognising traits such as perfectionism and working with those to reduce the pressure that that puts on you on a daily basis. So there's lots and lots more examples beyond the ones I've given, but if your self-care is lacking, that can be a really significant trigger for overeating in response to that, and as a way to cope with just not meeting your general needs in each day. So reason number 4 that you might find yourself overeating is emotional eating. And this can come about as a result of perhaps not knowing how to understand and deal with your emotions in either the present time that you're in, or it may be a learned response to how you were perhaps suppressing your emotions growing up, or perhaps that your family circumstances where you learned about emotions were that you were not taught how to express your emotions fully, and hence you've developed a coping strategy to almost escape from your feelings by using food instead. So now that I've explained the 4 reasons you might be overeating, a helpful point to make is that it's quite rare that there's only one of those reasons that would affect you. It's often a few of those reasons that could be in combination at any one time that's resulting in you noticing that there is overeating going on in your relationship with food, and that perhaps is making you feel quite uncomfortable in your body, and you recognise that it's not really supporting your health in the way that you want it to be to get the best results for you. And is usually the most straightforward reason to look at is biological hunger. So out of all the 4 reasons that are available around this, if you have identified that biological hunger is something that is perhaps driving some of your overeating, then making a start on eating regularly and connecting with hunger and fullness cues is a really important part of healing this aspect of your relationship with food. And then beyond that, you can work through the next reason, if that does apply to you, which is food rules and rigidity. And the way to work through that is making peace with food and challenging your beliefs and rejecting diet culture. So in combination, there's a few different ways to look at that. Once you've sort of dealt with that, then you'd be able to look at moving into reason number 3, which is your self-care. So really addressing what self-care is to you and how that's feeling for you at the moment, and then starting to make some changes so that you're giving yourself a really good amount of self-care, and that can make a massive difference in the amount of food that you're eating, so that you are actually honouring your health fully and eating in a way that really does promote the best health possible for you. And then number 4, which is usually the last reason out of the 4, if that applies to you, that then feels easier to work with, is once you've addressed those other 3 areas of overeating, you can then concentrate on emotional eating. And look at whether you are suppressing your emotions and whether you are coping with your emotions through food, and then starting to take those next steps into healing the emotional eating by using non-food based coping strategies, which I will go into in another video. So I hope that's been helpful to give you just a brief overview of some of the common reasons that cause overeating and how to approach this in an intuitive eating mindset to help yourself to reduce these episodes of overeating so that you're feeling more comfortable in your body and you're healing your relationship with food and your body, and that's going to lead to the longer term positive health outcomes that you've perhaps tried through dieting, which a lot of us have, including me, and realised that dieting causes more harm than it does good, whereas intuitive eating really does support you to truly heal your body and relationship with food so that you can access that really fantastic long-term health that you absolutely deserve, and do that with peace, trust and freedom in your body. If this is something that you want to look at a little bit further beyond today's video, then do feel welcome to look at any of the other videos that I have made so far all about intuitive eating. There's also a link in the description box below to download the free Intuitive Eating Beginner's Guide, which is a lovely starting point if you're new to this work and you're wanting to take the next steps but you're not quite sure what to do next. Then that guide is lovely and it'll be really supportive for you to see whether this work resonates with you. And if you've done all of that and you're actually looking for some one-to-one support, then I do offer one-to-one coaching with my qualification as a certified intuitive eating counsellor. So there's also a link in the description box if you want to go and book a 30-minute complimentary discovery call with me so we can have a bit more of a chat about your health concerns and how I can guide you through the intuitive eating self-care framework to make the changes that you need to be making to get the health that you dream of, that is absolutely possible. And it's transformed my life and I'm just so pleased that I get to do this work to help others.